First up, we have the Craft Your Life Project Kit Delicate Garden, and in here we have a 6x8 stamp set, a die set, a layering stencil set, and a 3D embossing folder. On the stamp set we have 3 beautiful floral clusters, as well as some large sentiments and smaller ones which coordinate beautifully. Inside the packaging we do have the layering guide for the images that are going to work with those layering stencils. As well as the beautiful stamp set, we have the coordinating die set, which you can see is going to cut out all 3 of those large flower clusters. This layering stencil set includes 6 6x6 stencils. They all have a different layer on them, so you can add different layers to the images really quickly and easily. As well as that, we have the 3D embossing folder, and the stencils will also work with this as well. So you can emboss this and then use the stencils to create the image. So I am going to show you really quickly and easily here how you can use these stencils with each of the stamped images from the stamp set. Now all I'm going to do is I am going to take the coordinating stencil and I'm just going to pop that into place onto the stamped image. I'm then going to go and take a different kind of colour, different tone for each of the layers to create this really beautiful image with just a little bit of ink blending and ink, which is just fabulous. It doesn't take a lot of time at all to kind of build these images up with the ink blending and the stencils. You can kind of mix and match all the colours that you wish to use to create various different effects. You don't need to use all of the stencils on the images either. If you wanted to, you can also use the stencils that I'm using for this one, so 1 and 2 for the image that we have here, which coordinates perfectly with the 3D embossing folder as well. Also, if you wanted to create a softer look, you don't necessarily need to use the stamps at all. These stencils will work perfectly on their own, and it will truly give you the most beautiful kind of soft look with just the stenciled images. You could then, if you wanted to, add a little bit of doodling with some fine line pens to really give that a really different look from the image that it was originally intended to. So all I need to do now is just keep going. You can see that each of the 3 images that we have here, they do have 2 stencils each to create the whole image, and each of the flowers have 2 to 3 layers, and all of the leaves have 2 layers as well. I'm using the same colours on these, but you could definitely kind of mix and match colours within the flower to create a beautiful blended and gradient look too. So as you can see, it's not going to take that long to create all of these images. You could use them all on one card or a scrapbook layout, or you could even just use 1 or 2 and properly mix and match them together. It really doesn't take long, but it does create a really beautiful and stunning effect in the end that you're going to love. And I know that everyone here is going to love using these and popping them on all of your handmade projects. Next up, we have the Build a Garden Dancing Poppies. Now in this one, we have a 4x6 stamp set, a coordinating die set, and simple colouring stencil, as well as a mini blending tool. In the stamp set, you can see that we have a large image in the centre, which comprises of a number of different poppies. So you're all just going to stamp them in one, which is really, really clever. We also have some sentiments in there as well. Because you stamped the image in one go, we also have the die set up that you only need to cut it once. So you're just going to line that up around the stamped images and then just die cut that, which is fabulous. So it means that you don't have to kind of move things around or tape them down as much. It is really good. We also have a layering stencil set here, and you can see that we have a number of different ones in there. They are all 6x6, so that's going to colour your images. We also have the mini blending tool to help you kind of ink your images as well. So I am just going to stamp the image from the stamp set. You can see that it just does it in one go, which is fabulous. I'm then going to take the stencils, and for the first couple of these stencils, they are just going to colour the little petals that we have here. In the layering guide within the packaging, it will show you which ones need to be lined up where, so you're not going to really have to think about it too much. It is just going to be really explained in that packaging. So the first 2 stencils do have the petals in, and the second 2 of the stencil set have the leaves and stems. So this is just going to line up directly over the top. You can see that you're just going to need to line that up once, as well as the second of the leaf stencils, which is fabulous. It means that this is really going to cut down on the amount of time that it takes you to layer up these images. Next up, we have Grandiflora Southern Magnolia. So we have a number of different dyes in here, which is going to create 2 different beautiful flowers. We do also have a layering kind of composition at the bottom to give you some ideas. Now, the 2 flowers have 2 different cutouts in the little petal shapes that we have here. So they are going to be really easy to kind of distinguish from each of the flowers, and it also makes them really easy to layer together as well. Also, on the back of the packaging, you can see that we do have the layering guide. So this is going to help you pop these things together really quickly and easily. I say things, I mean flowers, sorry. So as you can see, I've cut all of the elements out here. So for the larger flower, we have 3 large petals, which all just line up with that little cutout that we have in the center. We can then add the flower centers on, and then the lighter little details which are going to go on top of all of the petals. I have added some little adhesive behind this before I die cut them, so it was really easy for me to pop those into place. We can then add in the flowers for the petals, for the second flower again, just lining up that little cutout that we have in the center, and then adding the flower center to cover the cutout. And then we just have this little petal that goes over the top as well. Next up, we have the Painterflower Magnolia Grandiflora. I hope I pronounced that right. And you can see that we have this 4x6 stamp set, which includes really beautiful large image, as well as some coordinating sentiments. Now, with all of our painter flowers, we do create these so it's for painters or colorists to kind of practice and hone their skills. It's not just for beginners, definitely. If you are a seasoned crafter, this is going to be a great one for you to grab as well. But we do like to have these really large areas in the stamp set so you can really play around with how you're going to colour it. We have lots of different designs in our painter flowers, and we're sure that you're going to be able to find something that you love in there. Here I will just be doing some simple watercolouring so you can see just how easy it is. All I'm doing is I'm just adding some water down first, and then I'm taking some of the paint pigment from the Artist Watercolour 24 pan set from Altenew and just dabbing that in to the kind of base of the petal. I did want this flower at the bottom to be slightly a little bit more blue, so all I'm doing is I'm just adding that purple that I added for the flower above, and I'm just going to add a little bit more blue into that. You don't necessarily need to mix this around so the colour is kind of stagnant or the same all the way through. I do like having the various different tones and different colours in the petals. I do feel that it adds more of a natural effect. Just changing up the kind of paint colours that you do use with watercolour or even any colouring medium will change the kind of feel and look of the design. So really just have a play around with this and just kind of layer up different colours, and I'm sure you're going to have so much fun playing with this one. Next up, we have the Mini Delight, and this is the Café Lait Dahlia, I hope I said that correctly. And in here we have a large Dahlia flower as well as 2 solid leaves and a number of different sentiments that you can kind of mix and match together. As well as the stamp set, you're also going to have the die set, which is going to cut out all of the elements from the stamp set. One of my favorite things to do with solid images like this is to add more of a kind of depth to them. I do this by adding 2 different layers of ink over the same one that we've just stamped, just by adding it in with a darker ink color and then kind of blending that out with a blending tool just on various points to give us that really cool effect. Last but by no means least, we have our newest subscription, and this is the Spark Joy. So this is the Spark Joy Sweet Strawberries, and in this we have a hot foil plate which has this beautiful strawberry image as well as a sentiment which says "You're sweet," and they are kind of separate, so you can use them separately. As well as that, we have a coordinating stencil set. So this is a set of 3 6x6 stencils, which is going to allow you to add color to that beautiful kind of foiled image that we have, and we also have a separate sweet sentiment on there as well. Inside the packaging we do have the layering guide, so you're going to be able to quickly and easily pop this together. So I'm just going to show you how this works. I am just going to foil that hot foil plate that we have, and I'm just using some gold foil from Altenew. I'm just using a Go Press and Foil to do so. Once it has been foiled, we can then go ahead and use our stencils. I would always recommend that you do your foiling first because it's much easier to stencil the foiling than it is to foil the stenciling. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm just going to work my way through all of these various little stencils that we have. They line up really, really quickly and easily, and the kind of foiling that you have on the outline is so beautifully kind of detailed and delicate. It gives such a beautiful effect at the end. So for this image, I'm just using a mix of some red colors and also some greens to add in the various points that we have on the stencil. We also have that little sweet sentiment too that you could kind of mix and match with the "your" that you have with the foiling too. So it's not going to take a long time to kind of color this image. You can, if you want to, use various other coloring mediums to color it as well.
Hello crafters, Jen here. For more tips, techniques, tutorials, and to discover which paper crafting products are right for you, subscribe to Altenew's YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Thanks for watching.